Hey there, welcome. Thanks for joining me. If this is your first time to my channel, my name is Violet, and today I'm going to be sharing with you a tutorial on how I changed up these TV trays and made them more of the neutral farmhouse style TV trays, but I ended up making them as end tables. And I'm doing them for my daughter. She is redecorating her room, so I wanted to help her out and make some end tables for her. So what we're going to do first is basically remove the legs off of these TV trays. Now I enjoy purchasing these TV trays whenever I can because there's so many things you can do with them. For instance, like we're doing today, these end tables. So what I did was, again, remove the legs, and then I just started sanding the top part off, the actual table. And just go ahead and use a 60 coat of sandpaper. The grip that's what I used, but you can use more than that. Just try to sand down as much as you possibly can of that clear coat that comes on the TV trays themselves. Now, if you're not going to do what I'm doing, which is basically staining these, if you decide to go ahead and paint your TV trays, go ahead and eliminate sanding. You won't have to do that. You can just basically wash them down and then just go ahead and use any kind of paint you desire. So what I did after sanding it is I wiped it down with the wet washcloth just to make sure that I evenly sanded everything and all that clear coat was gone. As you can see, I'm outside doing this tutorial and it was such a beautiful day, but you can see a lot of the projects that I have. For instance, that rocking chair back there and my 4 tables, the high back chairs, that I want to bring in, but I'm looking for a table to DIY to match those. So stay tuned for that tutorial as soon as I find a table that will match those chairs. But what I'm doing here is basically drawing lines straight down on this table, roughly about 2 inches apart. Now you can spread them apart as far as you like, just depending on how or what style you're going for to your end tables to look like. That rocking chair that's back there was my mother's, and it's also going in my daughter's room, and I just sanded that down. And after I sanded it all completely down, I thought, why didn't I just record that as well? So maybe I'll try to find a picture of how it looked before, and I'll link or add a picture somewhere around here of how it looks now once I reupholster it and finish it all up for her as well. Hopefully I can find one, but if not, I'll just post a picture of how it looks once I'm done with it. But yeah, so I ended up sanding that down as well. After you're done adding your lines onto your table, what you're going to do is get your, what I have is the wood burner that I purchased mine at Walmart, but they do have them on Amazon. And if I can find one on Amazon, I'll add a link down below for you as well. Yeah, I was just pointing to the rocking chair and my dog as well. But that's how I spread them apart, my lines on that table. Again, you can spread them apart as far as you like, just basically depending on what style you're going for. And I wanted it to look more of that farmhouse style tabletop, not more of a different style. So here I am just basically running my wood burner straight down that line. Now, as you can see, I'm kind of taking my time running that wood burner, but really you don't have to go that slow. I just had never done this before, so I wasn't sure how it was going to work out or how deep it was going to go. Basically, the slower you go on this wood with this wood burner, the deeper the cut is. So if you want a deep cut on your tabletop, then yeah, go as slow as I was going. But really, if you just want that look of the mark, to make it look like you have stacked your table together, then you don't have to go this fast. Basically, you can just kind of just run it down maybe 2 or 3 times and you're good to go. But again, since I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out or how I wanted it to look, I went slow on all of them because basically that's the way I started, so I wanted to go ahead and make sure that they all looked as even as possible, and they all looked alike, like it was done that way. So basically, again, just run your wood burner straight down that line. So as slow as I was going, it took me roughly about an hour just to do the wood burning, but it shouldn't take that long at all because the second table I did took me about 20 minutes to get done. So, and like I said, they look identical. So that's just basically your choice and your style of how you want to run that wood burner down your tables, depending on how deep you want it. So after I was done doing those lines, as you can see, natural wood and older wood and farmhouse has dents and burns and scars and all kinds of stuff on it because it's been used a lot. So what I decided to do was go ahead and get my wood burner and just mark up my tabletop. And this is just random marks everywhere. I ran my wood burner different ways, different angles. Some of them I just held it there for a while to make it darker. Other ways I flattened it. Just any way you want, just to mark up your table. Again, if this is a style you're going for. I was super excited that I was able to do this, and it turned out so beautiful, at least in my eyes. My daughter actually loves them, so I'm hoping I can make another one for myself because I want one for my area in my bathroom. So hopefully I'll be able to make another one. But just go ahead and again add as much as you like of these burns and dents into your tabletop. You can cross them, and even if you don't want to make indents like this, and say you do have one of these tabletops, you can even draw something on there and then just trace it with your wood burner, and that would be really beautiful. More of a custom made table with initials or something like that, and that would be a beautiful gift to give to someone as well. So once I was completely done, I wiped it all down, and then I just got some stain that I had and just started staining my tabletop. Now, if you don't have any stain, you can also use like chalk paint or any color of brown paint. Just add water to it to make it really runny, not too runny, but enough. And then just basically brush it on just the way I am. But the only trick is go ahead and you have a wet washcloth on the side to wipe it down as soon as you're done painting it. That way you can kind of control the color and stain that you want on your wood. And you can do that to the stain as well, not just the paint. And here you can see I'm just darkening where I did the lines on my table just to give it more, again, of that farmhouse weathered look that I'm going for. So I just basically kind of patted all the lines down and left it there, the stain there, for a little bit longer, and then I wiped it down so they could be a little bit darker, and it worked perfectly. Again, you could do this as many times as you like. I like to do it a little bit at a time, that way to make sure that it does come out the way I want and not too dark. And this is the way they look side by side. So once I was done doing both of the tabletops, this is the next day, I went ahead and decided to get the legs and paint them white. And you don't have to paint them white, you can paint them black, any color you like, but white is what I had on hand. So I went ahead and gave it roughly 3 coats of paint. I did make sure that I washed everything down and cleaned them up all as good as possible, and I just gave them a light sanding, but again, you don't have to if you're just going to paint them. But I made sure that this paint was completely dry between each coat before I painted it again, and I wanted it to be as clear, crisp white as possible. So I did make sure that it was nice and dry before I painted it in between. So once they were all completely dry, what I did was flip it over onto the tabletop, and then usually where you fold up your TV tray, I added a screw right there. And basically I didn't just just drilled it together so it can stay in place and not be moved anymore, because I do want these, or my daughter wants them for end tables, so I didn't want them to, you know, be removed around and end up folding on her. So that's why I added that screw. So once I was completely done adding all the rest of the screws on, I decided to paint the bottom of my TV tray as well and paint it all white. Just make sure you have a washcloth, or add some painter's tape around the edge of your table to make sure that it doesn't get stained. And this is the way it looked before. And this is the way it's going to look now. Huge difference. So I hope you enjoyed this thrift store flip, and hopefully I'll be able to go do some more shopping and do some more of these kind of tutorials for you. But if you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up and share with friends and family. Until next time, you guys stay safe and stay blessed. Bye.